Dealers once begged customers not to buy one specific motorcycle. They literally nicknamed it "Do Not Order One." Another bike depreciated so fast that owners lost half their investment before they even finished the break-in period. That's not speculation. These machines crashed harder than any market analyst predicted. But here's what nobody saw coming. The riders who ignored the warnings are now sitting on machines worth double what they paid. In this video, I'm counting down the 15 most ignored used motorcycles that turned out to be steals.
Oh, nice fueling right off the stop.
And number one, it's so undervalued that experienced riders are buying 3 of them just to lock in the price. Stick with me to the end, because this isn't about nostalgia. This is about market inefficiency that's making smart riders rich while everyone else chases hype. Number 15, Moto Guzzi V7. Moto Guzzi has heritage, it has character. But in a market dominated by Japanese reliability and American muscle, it's a niche brand. The V7 retro lineup offered classic styling and that signature transverse V-twin engine. But most riders walk past it in favor of more familiar names. When buyers see a Triumph or a Harley, they know what they're getting. When they see a Guzzi, they hesitate. That hesitation translates directly into lower prices. The V7 delivers an experience you don't get from mass-produced machines. It's lighter, simpler, and more engaging at lower speeds. The air-cooled engine keeps maintenance straightforward, and the European styling gives it a presence that Japanese retros struggle to match. The transverse V-twin creates a unique riding dynamic. The torque delivery is linear and predictable, making it ideal for urban riding and twisty back roads. The bike isn't trying to be fast. It's trying to be involving, and it succeeds completely. Number 14, Suzuki Savage 650 and S40. The Savage 650, later renamed the S40, was a single-cylinder cruiser in a world obsessed with V-twins. It didn't have the rumble, it didn't have the bulk, and it didn't have the horsepower that cruiser buyers were chasing. So it sat on showroom floors while people bought metric cruisers that cost more and required more maintenance. The cruiser market has always been about image. Riders want that V-twin sound, that heavy presence, that feeling of sitting on something substantial. The Savage didn't deliver any of that. It was light, simple, and unassuming. For a market segment built on appearances, that was a death sentence. Dealers couldn't give them away, but the riders who did buy them discovered something the market missed. Reliability beats image when you're actually riding the bike. But the Savage's simplicity became its strength. New riders loved the low seat height and manageable weight. Commuters loved the fuel efficiency and low running costs. And experienced riders appreciated that it was a motorcycle you could actually ride without worrying about expensive repairs. The single-cylinder engine is robust, parts are cheap and plentiful, and the bike does exactly what it was designed to do without drama. It's not flashy, but it works. Number 13, Aprilia Tuareg 660. The Tuareg 660 launched into a crowded middleweight adventure segment. Aprilia doesn't have the dealer network of Honda or BMW, and that limited visibility meant the Tuareg struggled to find buyers despite positive reviews. Critics praised the 660cc twin-cylinder engine and the bike's capability both on-road and off, but the market was already committed to more familiar names. Adventure bikes are status symbols now. Riders buy them to project capability and adventure, even if most of those bikes never see dirt. The major brands, BMW, Honda, KTM, dominate that image game. Aprilia tried to compete on merit, offering a bike that genuinely performed well in reviews. But merit doesn't win in a market driven by brand recognition and dealer presence. The Tuareg was the better bike in many comparisons, but it didn't have the network to support mass adoption. Early used models now represent a stealth opportunity. The engine is excellent, smooth, powerful, and well-suited to adventure riding. The electronics are modern, and the build quality reflects Aprilia's racing heritage. The suspension is well-tuned, offering enough compliance for off-road work while remaining composed on pavement. The ergonomics are comfortable for long days in the saddle, and the fuel tank capacity supports serious touring range. Number 12. Honda RC51 SP2. The RC51 was built for one reason: homologation for World Superbike racing. Limited production, high price, and a focus on track performance made it a hard sell to street riders. When its racing relevance ended, values dropped hard. Buyers moved on to newer superbikes with more technology and better ergonomics. Homologation bikes exist in a strange space. They're built to satisfy racing regulations, not to be practical street machines. The RC51 was Honda's response to Ducati's dominance in World Superbike. It needed to win races, which meant it prioritized performance over comfort. The V-twin engine was powerful but demanded attention. The riding position was aggressive. The heat from the engine was significant. For street riders looking for a practical sport bike, the RC51 was a hard sell. But homologation bikes follow a predictable value cycle. They crash after their racing era ends, then slowly climb back as collectors recognize their significance. The RC51 SP2 is currently in that depressed phase. You can find them between $4,000 and $6,000. That's access to a raw, historically significant V-twin superbike with race pedigree and limited availability. It's not comfortable, it's not practical, but it's a future classic at a current discount, and values are only going one direction from here. Number 11, Honda CBR 919RR Fireblade. The first-generation Fireblade became an instant icon and commands premium prices today. But the third-generation 919RR, it got overshadowed by the bikes that came after it, the 929RR and 954RR. The market moved on to more modern platforms, and the 919RR became just another used sport bike. Here's what the market missed. The 919RR has a better chassis and engine than the original Fireblade. It delivers 130 horsepower, weighs around 400 pounds dry, and offers genuine superbike performance. The handling is sharp, the brakes are strong, and the engine pulls hard through the entire rev range. It's a proper super sport that can run with bikes costing twice as much. Current pricing sits between $4,000 and $6,000. That's track day capability for the cost of a standard middleweight. The first-gen Fireblade gets the collector attention because it was revolutionary. It changed what riders expected from superbikes. But the 919RR delivers more performance per dollar for riders who actually want to use the bike. It's not about historical significance. It's about getting a machine that works exceptionally well for an absurdly low price. The 919RR won't appreciate like the original Fireblade, but that's not the point. The point is getting a bike that lets you ride hard without worrying about depreciation or collector value. Now we need to talk about something important. If you're serious about finding value in the used market, understanding the mechanical risks is essential. The bikes on this list aren't perfect, but their flaws are known, documented, and often fixable. That's what separates a smart buy from a money pit. Keep that in mind as we continue. Number 10, Honda NM4. The NM4 looked like it rolled out of an anime series. It featured aggressive, futuristic styling, an automatic DCT transmission, and a price tag that made no sense for what it offered. Dealers couldn't move them. The bike was too niche, too weird, and too expensive. Honda took a massive risk with the NM4. The design was intentionally polarizing, inspired by science fiction aesthetics rather than traditional motorcycle styling. The automatic transmission eliminated one of the core appeals of riding, shifting gears, and the price positioned it against bikes with better performance and more practical features. It was a product that made sense on paper, targeting urban commuters who wanted style and convenience, but the execution missed the market completely. But the NM4's failure in the mainstream market is exactly what makes it interesting now. The automatic transmission appeals to riders who want low-effort commuting. The styling is bold and distinctive in a market full of similar-looking standards and cruisers. It's not for everyone, but for the niche audience that appreciates futuristic design and comfort over convention, the NM4 delivers something genuinely different. Number 9, Honda DN01. The DN01 might be the most spectacular market failure on this list. Honda launched it with a $14,000 price tag, polarizing styling, poor wind protection, no storage, and lethargic performance despite its automatic CVT transmission. Dealers reportedly nicknamed it "Do Not Order One." That tells you everything. The The DN01 was Honda's attempt to redefine what a cruiser could be. The CVT transmission was supposed to deliver smooth, seamless power delivery. The styling was meant to attract riders looking for something different, but the execution failed on every practical level. The wind protection was inadequate for highway speeds. The lack of storage made it impractical for touring. The performance was underwhelming, and the price was absurd for what the bike delivered. It was a concept that sounded innovative, but felt half-finished in practice. So why is it here? Because market failures become collector curiosities. The DN01 is a low-production technological experiment with a unique CVT system. It's not a practical commuter, it's not reliable in the way other Hondas are, but it's historically significant and niche collectors are starting to pay attention. This is a volatile risk. Parts availability is uncertain, and the specialized transmission makes repairs expensive. Number 8. Triumph T3 Series. The early Triumph T3 lineup, Trophy, Trident, Daytona, marked the rebirth of the Triumph brand in the 90s. But these bikes launched with a reputation problem. Triumph had gone through bankruptcy and restructuring, and riders were skeptical about the quality of the new machines. Early models had known issues like vulnerable sprag clutches, and some riders found them heavy. The market was skeptical, and early sales reflected that uncertainty. Time has been kind to the T3 series. The carbureted engines have character, and the overbuilt construction means these bikes can cover serious mileage if maintained properly. Owners describe them as solid, dependable British heavy metal. The inline 3-engine configuration delivers smooth power with a distinctive exhaust note. The 4-cylinder models offer relaxed touring performance with enough power for highway cruising and two-up riding. The 1200 Trophy in particular was designed for long-distance touring and excels in that role. The challenge with the T3 series is parts availability. Many original components are no longer available through Triumph, and dealer support is expensive and slow. This is the single biggest barrier to T3 ownership. When a part breaks, finding a replacement can involve weeks of searching through online forums, contacting specialist breakers, or sourcing aftermarket alternatives. For riders accustomed to the instant parts availability of Japanese bikes, this reality is frustrating. Number 7. BMW R1150R. The R1150R was a dependable roadster that got overshadowed when the more advanced R1200 series arrived. It lacked the technology and power of its successor, so the market moved on quickly. BMW buyers tend to chase the latest features, and when the R1200 series launched with fuel injection, more power, and updated styling, the R1150R became yesterday's news. But that's exactly why it's a value now. The R1150R represents a golden era of BMW engineering before electronics became complex. The 1,130cc flat twin engine is highly reliable, paired with a 6-speed transmission and shaft drive. The engine delivers smooth, usable power across the rev range. The shaft drive eliminates chain maintenance, reducing long-term ownership costs. The telelever front and paralever rear suspension systems deliver excellent handling and comfort, absorbing road imperfections while maintaining stability in corners. The R1150R is mechanically straightforward compared to modern BMWs. There are fewer sensors, fewer electronic systems, and fewer potential failure points. For riders who value simplicity and mechanical robustness, that's a significant advantage. The bike is easy to work on, with good access to major components. Routine maintenance can be performed by competent home mechanics, reducing the need for expensive dealer service. Number 6. BMW R1200 ST. The R1200 ST should have been a success. It featured the robust 1,170cc boxer twin engine, producing 110 horsepower, the excellent telelever and paralever suspension, and genuine BMW touring capability. But it had one fatal flaw: the headlight. The hexagonal, vertical design was mocked relentlessly. Riders called it ugly, awkward, and unfinished. The styling killed it. Production ended after just 3 years, from 2005 to 2007. Underneath that polarizing front end is a superbly engineered motorcycle. The engine is powerful and durable, capable of covering high mileage without major issues. The suspension is outstanding, offering a ride quality that rivals bikes costing significantly more. The ergonomics are comfortable for all-day riding, with a relaxed seating position and good wind protection. The bike handles well, with the low center of gravity from the boxer engine contributing to stable, predictable cornering. Used prices are absurdly low, essentially a massive discount on German engineering because of aesthetic rejection. But there's a critical risk. Many models came with the servo-assisted ABS system, known as Guzzi brakes. The system is powerful, delivering strong, progressive braking performance, but the module fails frequently and repairs are expensive. When the servo unit fails, replacement costs can exceed $2,000. That single potential failure point scares buyers away, further depressing values. Buyers need to verify that any recall for rear-wheel hub cracking has been completed. Some early models experienced hub failures, and BMW issued a recall to address the issue. Confirming that the recall work was performed is essential before purchase. The safest option is to find a final year model with the simplified non-servo brakes. These models lack the servo assist, but offer more reliable, conventional ABS performance that owners actually prefer. Number 5. Yamaha XSR900. The early XSR900 models were based on the FZ09 platform, later called the MT09. The retro styling was an attempt to capture classic Yamaha aesthetics, but it felt derivative compared to the aggressive look of the MT09. The bike struggled to find an identity in the market. Was it a retro standard, a naked sport bike, a neo-classic? The market couldn't decide, and sales reflected that confusion. What the market undervalued was the engine. The CP3 cross-plane triple is one of the best engines Yamaha has ever built. It delivers around 106 horsepower with strong, low-end torque in a distinctive sound. The cross-plane crankshaft creates an irregular firing order that mimics the character of a V-twin while maintaining the smoothness of an inline-3. The result is an engine with personality, delivering punchy acceleration and a soundtrack that makes every ride engaging. The XSR900 blends modern performance with retro style, and the aftermarket support is extensive. Owners can add luggage, protection, and lighting easily, making it a versatile platform for both commuting and touring. The riding position is upright and comfortable, suitable for long days in the saddle. The suspension is well-tuned, offering enough compliance for daily riding, while remaining composed when pushed hard. The brakes are strong and progressive, inspiring confidence in all conditions. Number 4. Honda CB500X. The early CB500X was dismissed by the adventure touring community immediately. The 471cc parallel twin produced less than 47 horsepower, and the 17-inch front wheel was too street-oriented for serious off-road work. In a market obsessed with power and capability, the CB500X didn't measure up. Adventure riders wanted big twins with serious displacement. They wanted spoked wheels and long-travel suspension. The CB500X offered none of that, so it was ignored. But long-term owners tell a different story. There are documented cases of CB500X models covering over 96,000 miles with minimal issues. The engine is virtually fault-free, requiring only routine maintenance to keep running. Valve adjustments are infrequent, and when they're needed, they're straightforward to perform. The fuel system is simple and reliable. The electrical system is robust. The transmission shifts smoothly and shows minimal wear even at high mileage. Fuel efficiency reaches 67 miles per gallon, giving the bike serious touring range despite its modest tank capacity. The engine doesn't work hard at highway speeds, contributing to its longevity and low-stress operation. The parallel twin delivers smooth, predictable power that makes the bike easy to ride in all conditions. It's not exciting, but it's deeply competent. Number 3. Kawasaki Versys 650. The first-generation Versys 650 was called ugly, boring, and the Corolla of motorcycles. The styling was awkward, with angular bodywork and a front end that looked unfinished. The bike didn't fit cleanly into any category. It wasn't a sport bike, wasn't quite an adventure bike, and wasn't aggressive enough to appeal to street riders. so it sat on showroom floors while buyers chose bikes with clearer identities and better looks. But the Versys became a sleeper hit in the used market. Owners consistently praise its reliability, comfortable upright riding position, adjustable suspension, and potent parallel twin engine. The 649cc parallel twin delivers smooth, flexible power that works well in all riding situations. The engine pulls cleanly from low revs, making city riding easy. It cruises comfortably at highway speeds without feeling stressed, and it has enough power for spirited riding on back roads when the mood strikes. It's versatile, capable as a commuter, light tourer, and backroad machine. The upright seating position reduces fatigue on long rides. The windscreen provides adequate protection for highway cruising. The suspension handles a variety of road surfaces competently, soaking up bumps while maintaining composure. The fuel economy is excellent, reducing operating costs and extending range between fill-ups. Number 2, Suzuki SV650 Generation 1. The first generation SV650 became a cult favorite, but when the fuel-injected second generation arrived in 2003, the carbureted Gen 1 suddenly looked outdated. The market shifted toward fuel injection, viewing carburation as old technology. Prices for the Gen 1 models dropped as buyers pursued the more modern Gen 2. The older bikes were still solid, still reliable, still fun, but the market had moved on. That's why the Gen 1 is now the budget king. It's cheaper to acquire than the Gen 2, making it ideal for new riders who know they're likely to drop their first big bike. The lower purchase price reduces the financial sting of cosmetic damage from a parking lot tip-over. The V-twin engine delivers character and usable torque, making the bike engaging to ride without being intimidating. Power delivery is smooth and predictable, building confidence for novice riders. Reliability is excellent. The engine is robust, the transmission shifts smoothly, and the chassis is solid. Parts are cheap and widely available through both OEM and aftermarket sources. Common wear items like brake pads, tires, and chains are inexpensive and easy to source. The carburetor system, while requiring occasional cleaning and synchronization, is simple to maintain and adjust. For mechanically inclined owners, the Gen 1 SV650 is an excellent learning platform. Number 1. Suzuki SV650 Generation 2. The second generation SV650 is the highest rated value on this entire list. When it launched, it was overshadowed by high horsepower 4-cylinder sport bikes and criticized for its angular styling. The tubular frame was replaced with a more conventional design that some riders found less attractive than the original. Many dismissed it as just a beginner bike, suitable only for new riders before they moved on to something more serious. But the Gen 2 SV650 delivers everything that matters. The V-twin engine produces strong, usable low-end torque, perfect for real-world riding and commuting. The power delivery is smooth and linear, making the bike easy to ride in traffic while still offering enough performance for aggressive canyon riding. The fuel injection system ensures consistent performance in all conditions, eliminating the carburetor tuning and maintenance required by the Gen 1. The bike is versatile, available in naked and Fared S versions, and dominates budget racing classes like mini-twins. The naked version offers a stripped-down, essential riding experience with minimal bodywork in an upright riding position. The S version adds a fairing for improved wind protection and a slightly more aggressive riding position. Both configurations share the same excellent chassis and engine, allowing riders to choose based on personal preference. The aftermarket support is massive, and the community knowledge base is unmatched. The SV Riders online forum is one of the most active motorcycle communities, with thousands of members sharing maintenance guides, modification tips, and performance upgrades. Owners modify these bikes heavily, suspension swaps using GSXR components, exhaust upgrades, custom bodywork, engine tuning, and the result is a platform that can be tailored to any riding style. Track riders use them for club racing, commuters use them for daily transportation. Touring riders add luggage and ride them cross-country. The SV650 does it all. The market ignored these 15 bikes for reasons that had nothing to do with performance. But speaking of bikes the market got completely wrong, check out my video on the 17 most overhyped motorcycles of all time. Because sometimes the crowd doesn't just miss the value, They worship the failures.